Eastern USA Tenggara is a province of Indonesia. It is located in the eastern part of the Lesser Sunda Islands and includes West Timor. It has a total area of 48,718.1 square kilometers, and the population at the 2010 census was 4,683,827. The latest official estimate in January 2014 was 5,070,746. The provincial capital is Kupang. On West Timor, the province consists of more than 500 islands. The three largest are Flores, Sumba, and the western half of Timor. The eastern part of Timor is the independent country of East Timor. Eastern USA Tenggara is the only province in Indonesia where Roman Catholicism is the predominant religion. Nusa Tenggara Timur in Indonesian means eastern of the southeastern islands, compared to Nusa Tenggara Barat, which means western of the southeastern islands. History. After the declaration of Indonesian independence in 1945, the eastern part of Indonesia declared the state of East Indonesia. The state was further included in the United States of Indonesia as part of the agreement with the Dutch contained in the transfer its sovereignty to Indonesia in 1949. In 1950, United States of Indonesia dissolved itself into a unitary state and began to divide its component area into provinces. In 1958, by Indonesian Law No. 64 1958, three provinces were established in the Lesser Sunda Islands, namely Bali, Western USA Tenggara and Eastern USA Tenggara. The area of Eastern USA Tenggara province included the western part of Timor Island, Flores, Sumba and other several small islands in the region. The province was subdivided into 12 regencies and the city of Kupang, which had regency-level status. Following the fall of the Suharto regime in 1998 and the passage of a new regional autonomy law, there was a dramatic proliferation of regional governments across Indonesia. Several new regencies were created in Eastern USA Tenggara by the division of existing regencies. In 1999, the new Lembata Regency was formed after the division of the East Flores Regency. In 2002, Rote and Ndao Islands were split off from Kupang Regency to form a new Rote Ndao Regency. In 2003, Manggarai Regency was split into two and a new West Manggarai Regency was established. In 2007, the administration of Eastern USA Tenggara Province was expanded by the establishment of four new regencies: Central Sumba and Southwest Sumba, Nagakio and East Manggarai. In October 2008, a further regency, Sabu Rajua, was formed from part of the remaining Kupang Regency. In December 2012, yet another regency, Malacca, was created out of the southern half of Belu Regency. Therefore, as of early 2013, there were 21 regencies plus the one autonomous city in the province. Geography. Located in the east of Lesser Sunda Islands, Eastern USA Tenggara faces the Indian Ocean in the south and Flores Sea in the north. The province is bordered by other provinces, Western USA Tenggara in the west. In the east, the province is bordered by East Timor and southern part of Maluku. The province consists of about 566 islands. The largest and most dominant are Flores, Sumba, and the western part of Timor. The other is smaller islands include Adonara, Alor, Komodo, Lembata, Menipo, Rajua, Rinca, Rote Island, Savu, Simau, and Solor. The highest point in the province is Mount Mutish in the south-central Timor Regency, 2,427 meters above sea level. Administrative divisions. The province is divided into 21 regencies and 1 city. These are listed below with their areas and the populations at the 2010 census and at the latest estimates. Provincial government. Below is a list of governors who have held office in the Eastern USA: Tenggara: J. Lala Mentik, L. Tari, Ben Mboi, Hendrik Fernandez, Herman Musicaba, Pete Alexander Tallo, Franz Leburea. Demographics. The population of the province was 4,679,316 in 2010, but the most recent estimate was 5,070,746. The religious mix is atypical of Indonesia, with around 90% Christian, 8% Muslim, 0.6% Hindu or Buddhist, and 0.4% holding traditional beliefs. Eastern USA Tenggara has become a refuge for Indonesian Christians fleeing from conflict in Maluku and Irian Jaya. The secondary school enrollment rate of 39% is dramatically below the Indonesian average. Lack of clean drinking water, sanitation, and health facilities mean that child malnutrition and child mortality are higher than in most of the rest of Indonesia. Maternal and infant mortality are high partly because of poor access to health facilities in isolated rural areas. Malaria is a significant problem in parts of the province, with the result that the rate of infant mortality caused by malaria in recent years has been the highest across Indonesia. Economy. By several economic indicators, the provincial economy is weaker than the Indonesian average, with high inflation, unemployment and interest rates, making it one of the poorest provinces in Indonesia. Agriculture. A main part of the economic activity in the province is subsistence agriculture. Important local crops include corn and some smallholder plantation crops such as coffee. In some places such as Sumba, the lontar palm dominates local agricultural activities and is a very important part of the local economy. In these areas, the lontar palm provides timber and thatching as well as food in the form of fruits and palm sugar, which is obtained by tapping the fruit stems. The sugary sap can be used to make alcoholic drinks. In other parts of the province such as West Timor.It, the sugar palm has a useful role in the local economy. The degree of mechanization in agriculture is low. Large animals are widely used throughout the province. Natural resources. A significant part of the economic activity in the province involves the development of natural resources, including forestry and numerous local mining ventures. Some of the activity is controversial, however, because regulatory controls over the use of natural resources are not always effective. There have been disputes in some areas over the use of land. Manganese mining, for example, in the central part of the island of Timor has been controversial. Nearby, in the Mount Mutish area to the east of Kupang, amongst some local groups, there is concern at the way local resources are being developed by mining companies. There is also significant activity in the informal mining sector. Across the province, villages sometimes exploit localized opportunities to undertake unregulated mining and mineral-based projects. In West Timor, for example, in the south-central Timor Regency, villages living near the south coast in the Kulbano area south of the town of Soe sometimes collect colored stones which, in turn, are sold to companies which export the stones to countries such as Australia, China, Malaysia, Singapore, and elsewhere. The cultivation of seaweed is an important activity in some parts of the province. In the Islands, for example, village-based informal cultivation of seaweed seaweed helps boost local incomes. Much of the seaweed is exported in unprocessed form, including to countries such as Japan in North Asia. One view is that more needs to be done to encourage further domestic processing of the seaweed to add value before export. However, the local skills and facilities for further processing are not well developed, and it is not clear that a program to encourage further processing would be successful. Growth and development levels of poverty in the province compared with other parts of Indonesia are relatively high. In 2010, 23% of the population were classified as poor compared to the all-Indonesia average of 13.3%. The numbers of street children in the province, for example, are relatively high. Localized food shortages are common. Around 50% of the children in the province suffer from stunting. The challenges of promoting development and lifting living standards in a rather isolated area of Indonesia such as NTT are considerable. The main problems of development include the following. Differences in living standards between urban and rural areas are large. Rural poverty is widespread. Agriculture is underdeveloped with little use of modern technology, capital, and poor access to markets. Deforestation, which exacerbates problems of water management and access to water in the province. Infrastructure in the province is underdeveloped. Roads are often poor, especially in rural areas. There is relatively little electricity throughout NTT. Electricity use in 2010 was at the very low level of around 90 kilowatt-hours per capita compared to the all-Indonesia rate of around 630 kilowatt-hours. Access to water is a major problem. The province is dry for much of the year, and in rural areas many of the villages must rely on unreliable and untreated local springs and other sources for water supplies. The percentage of households relying on spring water was around 40% in 2010, the highest for any province in Indonesia and well above the all-Indonesia average of 14%. Water shortages are thus a major local social and political issue in the province. Local education and medical facilities are poor and neglected. Although the numbers of schools and local medical clinics are adequate compared to other parts of Indonesia, the quality of services provided in these institutions is often poor, and in some areas, key facilities are absent. In mid-2014 it was reported that 2 districts did not have general hospitals. Resources available to the provincial and regency governments are very limited, so it is difficult for local governments to improve the supply of public services. Tourism. The provincial government aims to promote tourism. There are various interesting locations in the province. The basic infrastructure to support the tourist sector needs to be strengthened, but several main features of the tourist sector in the province include Komodo Island with the well-known Komodo dragon, Kelimutu volcano on Flores, which contains 3 striking crater lakes of varying colors, Mount Mutish to the east of Kupang, the highest point in the province and an area known for hiking and amp bird watching, Semana Santa in Larantuka, traditional housing and Paisala in Sumba Island, Alor Dive in Alor Island, Nembrala Beach in Rotendao, Pink Beach in Pada Island, Taman 17 in Riung Island. Various local community groups in the province work to promote the local tourist industry, although, as yet, many of these activities are still somewhat underdeveloped and need strengthening. Well-known figures from the province include the following. Isaac Hurudoko, an independence fighter who organized resistance against the Dutch Nika in the 1940s. Wilhelmus Zakaria Johannes, regarded as the first Indonesian radiologist in Indonesia. The WZ Johannes Hospital in Kupang is named after him. Franz Sader, a politician and finance minister of Indonesia. Adrianus Mooy, an economist who was governor of Bank Indonesia and executive director of the Inkscape. Ben Mbo, a former Eastern Nusa Tenggara governor. Herman Johannes, scientist, government minister, and rector of Gajah Mada University.